I recently had someone ask me how to make this animation right here. So I'm going to try to recreate it on the fly in After Effects. It's been a while since I made this project, so it might be a little bit different, but we'll get something similar. So let's hop into After Effects. I'll start completely from scratch and create a new composition. You can click this button here to do that, or click Command N. And I'm going to make mine a 1600 width by 1200 height with 30 frames per second. Sounds good. We'll make the background color black and hit OK. All right, so now we can go ahead and create our circle. As you can see in this animation, there's a black circle here. So we're going to start with that. So let's click on the ellipse tool here. If you don't see that available, if you see like a square or something, you just have to click and hold, and then you can drag on the ellipse tool. So as you drag, hold Shift on your keyboard to make this proportionate. There we go. And we can call this dark circle. I like to use the Align panel here. If you don't see the Align panel available, you can click on Window in your menu bar and click on the Align option, and that should pop up this window. But I can center this item to the composition, and now we know it's centered on screen, so that's great. So I don't really need to do much with this, so I'll just go ahead and lock it. And now we know that we have that circle there. If you want to see it, you can click on this toggle transparency grid, and there's our circle. All right, so now we have to make our glowy things. So what I did to create this is I made these ovals that looked something like this. And you might want to move the anchor point to be centered on this thing. To do that, you can hit Y on your keyboard or click on this pan behind tool right here. That'll let you move this anchor point. And if you hold Shift, it'll snap to the center or corner as you drag. So I'll put it in the center. Now I will make sure that my oval is selected, and if you're still on the pan behind tool, then you'll have to click on V on your keyboard, and that will give you this pointer tool. And that lets you change the colors now. So now that we have colors available, you can click on this black square here, and you can change the colors to whatever you want. I am going to go with we'll do like a blue and, I don't know, maybe a red. Let's just do like RGB. So red, green, blue. So I kind of like a purpley blue, so I'm going to do that. And we can move this layer behind, and we'll call this blue. Now you can go to your Effects and Presets panel, and if you don't see that, click on your menu where it says Window, and find Effects and Presets. And I'm going to add a glow effect to this, and let's go ahead and toggle this back so that we can just see the blackness now. And if I zoom in using the zoom tool, I can increase or decrease the glow threshold. I think I want like a very broad glowiness here. And you can make the glow look more dynamic if you want by duplicating it. So I'll select the glow and hit Command D. So now we have two glows. And you can just mess around and see what you come up with here. I like to have the first glow be a little bit more like close to the rim and not as like foggy like this. So I can make it close to the rim and maybe like, I'm not quite sure, I just kind of mess around with it. Ooh, you can get some really cool stuff here. That's kind of fun. All right, so just get something you like. Mostly I'm messing with the radius and threshold. Intensity is actually, yeah, the intensity is probably good to mess around with too. And if you want this to be, you know, kind of even more dynamic, you can duplicate the glow again. I'll probably just stick with 2 for now. Okay, now I can zoom out again using the zoom tool and holding Alt and clicking. So as you can see, that zooms away. A faster way also to sort of frame your comp here is to hit Option ? And that will just frame this nicely. Cool, so my blue ended up being a bit purple. I might change that later, we'll find out. But now I'm going to make a red. You know, before I do that, let's actually start animating this. So I would like to add rotation. So you can keyframe that if you want. And there'll be some rotation going on here. It's a bit slow. So I'll go ahead and zoom in and tighten this up a little bit. Looks like I have this at a full minute, which is much too long. So I'll cap this out at like 10 seconds or something like that. I'll hit N on my keyboard to crop this. All right, now I can make a looping animation just by making the start and end point be the exact same. So, for example, if we spin this around, 360 degrees, another 360 degrees, etc. And you can just spin it like a full rotation by typing in here 1. That's 1 full rotation. So there we go, 1 full rotation. I don't know, I'll do like 3 or something. Not quite sure where this is going yet. We'll just figure it out as we go. So there's that. And now I can probably parent this to my dark circle and unlock the dark circle. And let's add a rotation to the dark circle as well. So maybe we'll rotate this 1 full rotation. So now we can see our oval's rotating and our dark circle's also rotating, so we have this effect. All right, so good enough for now. Let's go ahead and make a red option. Okay. And if you don't like the hue, you can definitely change that either in the fill or through your glow effects here. I think the threshold is maybe, yeah, that's what's messing with that. So I don't know, I kind of like the pink and purple look, so I might just kind of keep that. Like, this is kind of cool. So let's call this pink. And now we're going to make another one. So I selected the layer and hit Command D to duplicate. And now I'm moving it over here. And this one, we're going to make it a green color. That's kind of cool. I like that as is. I'm not even going to make any changes. Just randomly picked a green. Cool. Alright, so far we're going to kind of end up with a little bit of chaos, you can see here. But yeah, I'm not sure how I did the original. I'm just going to kind of mess around here. But pretty much I want to make sure that these circles never actually leave. Like, I want the glow to be peeking out, but I don't actually want the actual thing to be peeking out, just the glow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that happens with position keyframes. So we'll select our 3 ovals and hit P on your keyboard and place a keyframe for each one. I just realized that I didn't rename my green layer, so let's go ahead and do that. Call it green. Alright, now I'm going to go to the end of my composition, and you'll notice that I sort of have these snap to the keyframe, and that's because I'm holding Shift. So they snap. Very cool. So let's drop a keyframe at the end. So now we know that these end and start in the exact same places. So if we hit play, you'll notice that it's just a seamless loop. Can't even tell. So now we sort of have to fix these things that are happening in the middle here. So I'm not sure the best way to do that. I'll probably, I guess we'll just go where the issue is most obvious, and then we'll just move this in. And we'll do the same thing for the pink. And let's see where the green is at, and we'll just Yeah, move that around too so we get some glow from the green. So let's see here. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna have to do some more aggressive keyframing here. So we have another issue right here. So I'm gonna go to the peak at where the issue is most obvious and just pull that in, maybe put it over here or something like that, and do the same thing for this one. Okay, and I'm just gonna kind of keep doing this. Whenever I see it peak out the most, I'll just move it to another location. And there probably is a more efficient way to do this, but I don't know. I'm pretty happy with this. Alright, so let's go ahead and give this watch, see where we're at so far. It's looking pretty close. We still have some peaks going on right here, so we'll pull this one back, and I'll pull this one back into, and do the same thing right around here. Just dial it in a little bit. Okay, it looks like there's a little bit of a flash going on right around there. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what's happening. And maybe I should look at these one at a time as well. That's probably a better approach. Okay, so we have some kind of sporadic blips happening here with the green. Actually not too bad. It's not too bad. Let's see. I mean, probably one way to fix that is to pull it like over here instead of all the way across. So that way it's in the same, like, similar vicinity. So yeah, that's working pretty well. We'll have to fix this peak right here. So let's just pull that up a little bit. And a little bit more over here. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Alright, let's do pink next, see how that one's doing. Alright, pink's pretty good. I think pink's good to go. And let's take a look at blue. Alright, blue, we have a little bit of a blip. I'm not a huge fan of this. Let's take a look at that up close. So yeah, we kind of have it shooting all the way across, so maybe instead we bring it on this side so that it's kind of closer, like all the keyframes are closer to each other. Okay, and then we have this issue, so we gotta adjust that. That's actually kind of cool. Has this like accidental snappiness, but I kind of like it. All right, and then there's like there's a lot of time where it's just sort of like nothing's even showing, and I think I do want a little bit more visibility on our circle, on our oval. So I'll bump it up a little bit. Ooh, that's nice. And then continue that visibility throughout here. Oh, I'm liking this. Okay, and for my taste, it peaks out a little bit too high right here, so let's just pull it in just a bit. That's pretty nice. Okay, looks like we do have one peak right here. So we'll pull that guy down, and let's see how that is. Okay, maybe we do need a little bit more of a motion going on here. So let's pull this guy over to the left a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's snappy. I don't know. Let's see how it looks all together. I think it's pretty good, honestly. Like, I want more glow because it's really subtle. So there's a few ways to solve that. Like, we could make sure that these are visible like we just did with blue. Like, let's see, pink is kind of goes away here. So now let's pull pink over here. And then kind of do the same process. So you get the point. Like, it's a little bit tedious, but we'll be done in 30 minutes, you know, max on this project. So it's like we have another blank space right here. So let's just pull a little bit closer. Go back, make sure we didn't ruin anything. That looks good, that looks good. Oh, that's nice. Now we get a lot more pink visibility. Cool, so I think you get the point. If you wanted to make this more crazy, you could add more glow if you wanted to, by just duplicating. Like, if I just go in here and I just duplicate these glows, you can see it suddenly becomes a lot more intense. You could also duplicate these layers. So I'll select my 3 ovals, I'll Command D, and then just move them up. And we could just move these a little bit. So like, let's say I'm going to unparent them from the dark circle and give them a new parent. So we'll make just an arbitrary shape here in the center of our screen. And now let's parent these 3 duplicate ovals to that new item. And the reason why we're doing this is only so that we can rotate them all a little bit. So we'll rotate, and you'll notice now we have an extra set. So now we've just doubled everything, right? So it's a little bit more intense now. And when we're done making our adjustments, we could delete this shape layer. You could also use a null instead if you wanted to. So yeah, you get the point. For me, this is a little bit too like symmetrical. So I probably would do this differently. I don't know, like maybe I would only duplicate one color, or maybe I would add in like a white or something like that. Grayish. And maybe just like change a few of these keyframes so that we have a different, like the motion feels different and not like totally symmetrical. And if you wanted, you could also make these less oval and like more like circles instead of, yeah. And that could change the vibe. I kind of like that. It feels a little bit more random. So cool. I'll definitely do this like white version, and let's just see how this looks. Pretty good. I might get rid of the, I think I'll get rid of this second pink too. Alright, well, I think this is probably about good enough for me. If you wanted to make it a little bit more intense, you could add a new adjustment layer and maybe add some, like, I don't know, wobbliness, like turbulent displace or something like that. And maybe let's just put that underneath of our dark circle. So just sort of brainstorming here. You know, we can make that a little bit more interesting maybe. And you can try different presets. And change the complexity. And then maybe make an evolution. So if you can make an expression to make this the patterns sort of update over time. If you want to do that, then you could alt-click on the stopwatch on evolution and just write time times any number that you want. The higher the number, the more like jittery it will be. So I'll just try like 50 and see how that looks. And that seems pretty fun. It kind of adds a little bit of, you know, randomness. Feels kind of more organic. So yeah, I think I like that. And if this is going to be like a loading animation, you could add, I don't know, okay, I'm just going to keep rolling with this because it's kind of getting fun. So instead of this dark circle, I'll call this ring. And I'll get rid of the black fill. So we'll just get rid of the fill altogether by clicking on the fill word and clicking this red line thing. Then I'll add a stroke. So we'll click on the stroke, and I'm not sure what color yet. Maybe we'll make it a gradient actually. Let's try a gradient. So you can click on stroke and choose the gradient option here. And I'm good with this purple to pink thing going on. So we'll do that. I'll increase the amount. Now let's select our ring and hit S on your keyboard to make it a little bit smaller than the black outer ring. I will add a trim path and make this not a completed ring. So we'll do like 50% or something like that. Or 50, there we go. Okay, let's see, I kind of liked keyframing the offset here to make it like circle around. So let's do that. Let's add a keyframe on the offset at the very beginning, go to the end, and make it do like 1 or 2 full loops. So we'll just see how fast that goes. Okay, so 2 maybe. That seems pretty good. Now I don't like these hard edges, so I'm going to go ahead and change that. So it would be kind of cool if this is like a tapered edge. So let's toggle this layer up and then back down again. Go to ellipse and let's see, maybe path. I'm looking for the stroke here. Gradient stroke, there we go. Okay, so let's do a round cap, start off, and then we'll do a taper as well. So let's just try, I don't know, like a 50% taper. Okay, let's try 100%. What is that for this? Like, that's pretty cool, right? Maybe this gradient is kind of too intense and I should adjust it so that it's more gradual. Ooh, I'm liking this. This is really fun. I definitely want there to be a glow on this thing as well. So I could add a glow through my effects. I could also just sort of copy and paste from one of these other layers because I kind of like how these are looking. So I'll copy both glow effects and paste them on the ring. That's a bit too intense. So let's try getting rid of or adjusting some of these glows. So I'll just have glow 1 for now and turn the threshold up and down, see what that gets me. Okay, maybe at like 50% threshold or something. And maybe I'll make the radius 25 and the intensity like 5. And then add the glow 2. Okay. I mean, it's pretty wild, but I kind of like it. I think the pink is too much for me, so I'm going to change the stroke and just adjust this pink and just see what we get. Try darker colors. Okay, that could work, so just the edge is pink. Maybe it needs a third color. Like maybe we have that pink and then the purple and then let's just, I don't know, let's throw a green in there and see what happens. That's kind of fun. But yeah, it's a little bit too aggressive. I think it's this first one, so maybe we'll change threshold or something like that. Or the intensity. Yeah. Okay, so we'll keep threshold at 50% and just change the intensity down to 2. So now we get a little bit of green in there, we get a little bit of purple, a little bit of pink. It's pretty fun. Yeah, kind of wild, but I like it. I think I'm gonna call it good, and I hope that you guys found something useful in this tutorial. If you did, definitely let me know, because if there's enough people who do enjoy these or find these helpful, then I'm definitely open to making more of them. Thanks a lot. Bye.